and welcome back to Ironwood James. Today I want to make a doorstop, a wooden doorstop. It's a great big chunky piece of wood basically with a handle on it. I've made these before in the past, but I've got an idea for a different design, shall we say. And I want to do a bit of welding, and I'm going to put this whacking great big steel ball bearing, if you like, on the top as the handle. So we're going to do a little bit of actual ironwork today. So you get to see the real Ironwood Jones. First things first, I'm looking for a really heavy piece of wood that's going to be the base of these doorstops. This'll do. It's a nice chunky bit of beech. A good heavy bit of wood. Just what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to cut these into various lengths. So we end up with a few choices of heights really. They need to be heavy enough to hold the door and high enough so you don't have to bend down too much to pick them up. Okay, next job, to find some bits of metal that I can work into some type of handle. These will do. They're stakes that they use on building sites to make temporary fencing. I picked them up a while ago. I'll cut a variety of lengths from this as well. I'm going to use this as the shaft, and one end of it I'm going to connect to the wooden block. You'll see. I want to cut a slot down the middle, about a couple of inches. We'll heat them up in the fire and then spread them out a bit, so they look quite nice in the end. Okay, here we go. This is the anvil. This is my beauty. It's a nice little anvil, isn't it? Well, it's not little actually, it's 400 weight, which is 448 pounds. Put it on a stand the other day, quickly, polished up my hammer, and ready for action. And we're gonna use it for the first time in anger, as they say. Okay, here we are at the forge. Unfortunately, a few days later than what we were planning to do, because we had some horrendous storms and there was about 90 to 100 mile an hour winds floating around here. And I thought, perhaps not a good idea to do forging in a storm. I am not an expert at forge lighting, especially with coke. Coke is the best, and that's, I can feel it, I can feel the rain. It's just sod's law. Coke is the best, but it's hard to keep going apparently, from what I gather, from what I've heard in the old comments and bits and pieces. And but we shall see. Why is it when you light a fire the smoke always comes? It's a scientific fact, isn't it? It's a sort of a physics fact that when you light a fire, smoke always blows toward you. How about if we use this? Give it a bit of welly. I picked this forge up a few years ago. It's an old World War I field forge, and they would have used this on the battlefields of France in World War I, and the farriers would shoe the horses, and this is like a portable setup. And it is actually, I think it actually says it on the front, a William Alldays forge. So the very famous Alldays and Onions forge manufacturer. She is going. Just as we're about to get going, the heavens opened and we got a whole dump of rain. Time for plan B, I think. So, it's been so bad outside that we've had to come indoors because it started to rain. So I've got my irons in the fire. Let's see if they'll heat up. And having a cup of tea and a bit of peace and quiet for 5 minutes in front of the fire is nice, instead of getting soaked in the rain. Okay, is that hot enough? Oh, that's pretty good. After I splayed the ends out, they can go back into the fire for a few minutes to heat up. Get them nice and hot, and then I can start to flatten the ends. So you can see what I'm trying to do, sort of splay it out a bit, just texture it a little bit. It's all a bit wonky donkey, but hey ho. I'm trying to make a sort of a leaf structure. But I don't know whether it's working. Oops. I think that'll do. I'll drill a hole here now in each side, and then that will bolt down to the doorstop, and then I'm going to weld my balls on the end of here. That sounds good, doesn't it? Weld my balls. I probably will do. Okay. I've cleaned them up on the belt sander. Just quickly give them a quick whiz over, and there they are, ready to go. So what we want to do now is we're going to use one of these balls, and we're going to just weld one of the balls on top, and then that will sit on the doorstop. So it'll be a nice heavy duty doorstop ball thingy to pick up. I've also picked up, got some old finials. That's a finial. It's a nice swirly piece of metal, and I think that would look quite nice. I've cut a shorter one there, and I might sort of put it in the middle, like so, with a bit on there, and then the ball on top again. So it might just, I don't know, we'll give it a bash, see how it looks. So I'm going to try my stick welder. Not the sort of thing I wanted to use for this, but it's ideally it should be sort of TIG welded, really, I suppose, because it would look. It's a much finer process, but I don't have a TIG welder, and I've never TIG welded before. Well, it needs a bit of cleaning up, but there we have it. Just got to tidy it up a bit. God, I'll tell you what, that's a bit of a weight. I think we're going to try a Dremel. This is a brilliant little tool. I don't use it enough. It actually works quite well. Not perfect, but it's on there. It's not coming off. So now I'm going to do the other ones. I want to do the finial, and we'll have a look at that and see how we go. To get a good weld, the metal needs to be clean. So I'm just sanding off the rusty and corroded surface. Ooh, that's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Let's weld that finial into place. Okay. Bit of cleaning up to do, but that helps when you drop it. And now the ball to the finial. Okay, so I've let it cool down now, and actually it's okay. It's fairly straight, I think. Difficult to tell, but I'm going to clean up these welds now on the belt sander, and that'll tidy them up. Now to drill some holes. I've just done some wire wheeling, and I think they've come out quite nice. I'm quite amazed, actually. They look really good, considering what they looked like before. So I've had a bit of a dilemma now. My good lady has said she wants wax, but I have said, what about if we did a black spirit stain on it? So that the block was black, and that would look quite nice on there, a bit of a contrast with the sort of the shiny and the black. So what I'm going to do is, I thought, right, okay, well, we'll try both. We'll see how they work. And so that's what we're going to do now. This is just a ordinary black spirit stain. It's not a water-based stain. It's a spirit stain. Several reasons. One is spirit stains tend to penetrate the wood better, and then they leave the grain, if you like, exposed, so you can see the wood better. Unlike a water-based stain, that's probably the problem with the water-based stain is it raises the grain. Once the grain is raised, you've got to then wait for it to dry and bring it back down with a bit of sandpaper back to square one, and then you've got to redo it again. It's a bit of a pain. So a spirit-based stain sort of doesn't, you don't need to do that with a spirit, and you can see it's just going straight on, and it's going straight into the wood, which is what we want. We want the black colour, but we don't, and we want to be able to see the texture of the wood, if you like, the age, the cracks, the bits and pieces of the wood, and we still want that to accentuate it a little bit. So it will, once it's done and polished, we'll put a clear coat polish on this on top, and it would look really, really nice. Not always a lover of doing this with hardwood. I hate to see hardwood covered up, but in this particular instance, it would look nice. I think it warrants the defacing of the lovely grain. I think we'll leave that dry now, and we'll do the other one with wax. We'll do this one with the wax. This is the one that my wife would like to see waxed. So get me old bry wax out again, and my brush. Brushes just get into the grain. I'll be able to get into. You've got little splits where it's dried and it's split. Brushes will get into that, whereas a rag will sort of tend to leave it on the surface and fill it up. Now we probably end up doing 2 or maybe 3 coats. You know, I like to do a good couple of coats, at least a couple of coats. And if you do 3, I don't know, I see it myself. If you look at it closely, you'll see that it will bring out a real luster. You'll have depth of colour. Now, of course, you will be able to buy these on our website. So once we've done them all, go across to the website and have a look, and the link will be in the description below, and you can purchase them. Now I'm just going to go over ever so lightly with a rag and just take that off and get the grain, get the worst of it off. You're spreading it out evenly, you're just evenly spacing the wax out. Then what we'll do is we'll just leave that to dry. We'll probably give that a couple of coats. The other one's looking pretty good, nice and black. I might give that another coat actually, just to get it looking really jet black, but we'll see. And then we'll come back in a minute and we'll have a look and see what it looks like. I've just given these a second coat, and I'm just giving this a buff now, and they're coming up quite nice. And then what we'll do is we'll pop this on, and I just mark my holes with me awl, I'm going to pre-drill these because these are beech, so they're solid, they're a hardwood, and so they'll just snap. The screws are the screws are likely to snap off in them. So I'll just pre-drill the hole. I'll show you it finished at the end, but now I'm going to get the stain block ready. Right, so these have come out rather nice, I think. So what I've done is had 2 coats stain on it, and then I've put a coat of, I don't know if you can see that actually, because whether you can pick it up in the camera, but it's had another coat of clear wax that I've used, and I've put that on and just buffed it off just now. That's what it's going to look like, which is quite nice, don't you think? Okay. Right, let's see. Big old 2-inch screws. And I'm holding my fingers over the screw and the screwdriver not to allow it to slide off. And then we'll get the other one in. She's in. Or they're in. There you go. Job done. It's quite nice. I quite like that. Looks pretty good. There you go. Scrap bit of wood, scrap bit of iron, a couple of balls, and a scrap bit of finial. Job done. There's your doorstops. I'm really chuffed with how these have turned out. I've had this idea in my head for a long time, and it's so nice to see it now come to life. And between my wife and I think we can call it a draw. I do love them in the black, but the wax finish isn't bad at all. It's amazing, isn't it, when you have this idea in the middle of your head, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, you have this sort of, yeah, I could do that, that would work, yeah, and you come out and then you bring it out here and you put it into practice, and it works, and that's really, really satisfying, and I'm very pleased with them, and hopefully you might like to buy one, and they'll be on the website, so the link is in the description below, and come and have a look. And that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and like and subscribe, please do, and come back again and see us. Thank you very much. Cheerio.